we are talking about the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin. Okay, now, before we go any further, I want to let you know that in all of my research, people pronounce Turin two different ways. Some people say Turin, and way more people say Turin. So I'm not sure the way it's supposed to be pronounced. It's a place in Italy. So I'm just going to say Turin. So there you go. The Shroud of Turin. So the Shroud of Turin is a very, very fascinating thing that I have been interested in ever since the 1970s, when I saw a documentary about the Shroud. Now, how many of you are familiar with the Shroud? I know a bunch of you that have already been talking to me today. You know about the Shroud, so you can give me some comments. Probably a lot of you have heard of it. There probably are some other people who have not heard about it. So I'm going to be telling you all about it tonight. But the first time I ever heard about the Shroud of Turin was in 1978, because there was a documentary called the Silent Witness, and it was a documentary all about the Shroud of Turin. And so remember, this is 1978. So for those of you who were alive back in 1978, this is 47 years ago. I was 11 years old. And back in 1978, this is way before social media, we didn't even have cable TV back then. There were probably like 5 television stations, period. So any young people watching now, can you even imagine? So for there to be a documentary about the Shroud of Turin on one of our 5 television stations, a lot of people saw this documentary back in 1978. In fact, my husband remembers watching it when he was a lot younger. In fact, a lot of you probably watched it. I think Renee just said that she saw this documentary back in 1978 called The Silent Witness. And I have been, ever since, I have been fascinated by this Shroud. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it tonight. So let me tell you what it is. For those of you who are not familiar with it, here is a picture of the Shroud of Turin. And what you were looking at a photograph of a piece of cloth that is 14 feet long by 3.5 feet wide. And the most amazing thing about this piece of cloth is that if you look really closely, you can see, starting right here, there is an image of a man. Here's his head right here, okay, in the middle. And then if you look down, you can see his chest and his arms crossed in front of his body and his legs. Can you see that? And then up above the image of this man is another image of the same man from the back, upside down. So we've got his head right here, his back, his shoulders and back, and then the rest of his body going upside down. All right, so the image of this man, evidently, it is an image of a man who has been crucified, because you can see the nail holes in the nail wounds in his wrists and also his feet. So this is an image of a crucified man, and this is purported to be the actual image of Jesus Christ, the actual shroud of Jesus Christ. And millions of people believe that it is indeed the actual shroud of Jesus Christ, the cloth that covered his body when he was laid in the tomb. Millions and millions of people believe that this image, there's a close-up of just the image of the body at the bottom of the shroud. Millions of people believe that this is an image of Jesus Christ, not a painting, but an actual image of Jesus Christ. Millions of people believe that there's a close-up of the face, that this is the actual face, an image of the face of Jesus Christ when he was on earth, including me. I believe that this is an image of Jesus Christ. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain to you why I believe it. And I think that at the end of this podcast, if you don't already believe it, I know some of you do already, but if you don't already believe it, I think I'm going to convince you. Not me. The evidence is so overwhelmingly convincing by the end of this podcast. Okay, so let's get into it.